Good morning, and welcome to Spartan Spotlight, where we bring you all things regarding AU athletics. I'm AJ Fabris. Today, we are joined by 4 AU coaches who lead our teams to success on the field and lead our students by example off of the field. Alongside me is AU football coach Rick Ponx, cross country and track and field coach Ryan Chapman, men's soccer coach Ryan Lakin, and women's soccer coach Troy Edwards. Well, we'll find out what these coaches make of this season success, and we'll get into what comes next looking forward. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the first question is, what in your opinion has been the strongest point of the team season?
Well, we were better than we were last year, which is always a good thing, and I think we took some strides that put us in a better position at the end of the year to make a splash, both in conference and regionally. And I think the team coming together and the camaraderie and all that is just top notch. So I was really impressed with how we did that.
I'd have to agree with Coach Lakin for us. The chemistry and coming together, we had a better season if you look at the records. But what's more importantly is I think we've set the foundation for the future by bringing the team together and knowing that they care about each other and like each other and enjoy spending time together, because then that'll propel us forward next year.
Yeah, our team culture was good, and that's something that we really strive for. We want to, have a group of guys, group of gals that really mesh, that really want to do, put in the work. Our sport starts, early June, just like all these other coaches. I mean, it's a year-round commitment for us to take back the conference title on the men's side. Top 2 for the girls. Again, we work hard and we get good results.
Yeah, I think just the growth of the team throughout the fall was a real positive. So we had a lot of freshmen and sophomore players, and so I think we have a really good core that's coming back. And for them to, get back into the conference final and everything was a good stride for those young players.
That's good news. It seems like each team is trending upwards, and you guys are all doing better as each season goes on. What sticks out to you the most this season? Was there a special moment, or maybe a moment in practice, or a particular game that sticks out to you the most this season?
The game that probably sticks out was the last one. It's the one that you look at, and we had a lot of almosts, and I think it left our players very hungry, hopefully very hungry to do the work in the offseason, to get in the weight room, to spend the time, to commit to each other, to work so that they don't have that same feeling the next year out. So the last game against MSOE, we had chances to go ahead of them. We gave up a couple of what I would consider softer goals. I think looking back, if we had another opportunity, we could stop those, and unfortunately we didn't, and credit them, they won on one. So the guys are hungry, and like Troy, we return a pretty good core of players that we feel. We're going to miss our seniors, of course, but we've got a good core of returning players that we look to build around.
Yeah, I'd say for our season, our conference games, in 5 of the 6 games, we were leading in the fourth quarter. A year ago, it was 0. So we've taken a lot of strides, and I think the players realize that they're not that far away from breaking through. It's going to take another hard offseason of getting better, but they tasted and learned how to compete. Now the next step is to learn how to win.
Most of those losses coming in by a touchdown or less, right?
Yes.
Very, very close games, every single loss.
Thanks for reminding them. It was good.
So, so our sport's a little different. It's a team sport, but it's also an individual sport. So there's individual successes, there's team successes. On the men's side, taking back the conference title, was huge. It was exciting. It was miserable weather. It was puddles of rain and wind, and for us to persevere through that meet, it was really, really exciting. On the women's side, similarly, we lost a lot of girls from the last 2 years, our nationally ranked teams, and to take second in the conference, I thought we were the 3rd best team. Going into that race, I felt really, really excited. The girls worked really hard in that bad weather, and then this past weekend, to have a national qualifier, for the 3rd year in a row, we're excited. I mean, when you bring in freshmen, you don't know. They're going to be good, but you never know how quickly they're going to click. And for Jackie Shane to be this good this quickly, we're pretty excited about it.
As far as highlights and everything, things to remember, I think for us, probably the last few weeks of the season, we really started to finally come together, got consistent. We're playing really good soccer and had an exciting last couple weeks. And just like Ryan, unfortunately, just came up real short. And I mean, we had the trophy in our hands and gave it away. And so I know that's going to haunt, our returning players and our ones that are done. And so for our returning players, they don't want to feel that again. And so I know that's going to drive them. I think some other highlights and everything were having one of our players, Nikki, set conference and school
Nikki
records.
Bermudez, right?
Yeah, setting school records and everything, and to have somebody, of that caliber coming through our program, I think was a real highlight for our program.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are really young and really hungry as well after this season. So that brings me to my next question. What are you most excited for looking forward to next season?
As much as the work has to get done, is that it's a process, and over time you got, you have to get them in the weight room, you have to get them on the field, they've got to be around the ball, and there's certainly steps to. I'd like to start tomorrow if I could. I think the guys are like I said, hungry. They're excited about it. They know that we return a lot of players that were significant impacts. We had some good postseason accolades, but the guys I think really want to get after it, and the sooner the better. The patience in there. So hopefully we can come back in the preseason fit and healthy, and really make a big splash next year. And I think the highlights are going to be starting September 1. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to next year. We lose 14 seniors, and although not a large amount when you look at football teams, there was a lot of great leadership in that group, and it really, again, gave us a foundation to move forward. I want to see who's going to step into those roles. We are very young. We've got a very small junior class, so it's going to come down to the sophomores of this year and some of our freshmen having to step up. So I'm excited to step back, watch them go through the off-season process, and see who's going to develop as our leaders going into next season.
Yeah, Coach Lakin said he was excited for, he wished that season would start tomorrow. Ours did. I was at practice this morning for track.
Right.
Track guys have been going since October 19th. So next season's now for us. Track and field for the distance runners is an extension of cross country. We don't have any athletes that they run cross and then they say see you later. They're back at it doing distance events in track. They all have strong bases. We're looking forward to doing what we do on the track. We've had a lot of success. We do have some good seniors, that we're losing. We had 5 on the female side and 2 on the 3 on the male side. And we'll look to replace them. But I think it's too easy, and all the coaches say that, to say, well, we'll recruit guys. When you recruit guys, you got to develop them. What Coach Ponx said. We got to find athletes that are already in the system, that are willing to put in the work and replace. So that's what we'll be trying to figure out this track season. We're the next leaders.
Yeah, moving forward, I would kind of reiterate with Coach Ponx is, we graduated some really talented players. We also have a fairly small junior class, and so watching and working with our sophomores and freshmen, and just to see, where they can grow and develop over this next year, these next couple years, and really see the leadership abilities of some of those players start to come to fruition. And I think for us, and I'm sure for everybody, it's an exciting time when we get a chance to work with young players and help them to get the most out of their abilities.
Sounds like you guys are going to miss your seniors, huh? Got
Yeah,
some good
for
leaders
sure.
this season?
For sure.
Yes.
Okay. So just going back to this season, just one more time, what are some things that the team can build off of looking back on this season for next season?
Well, I think the experience of understanding, for instance, this year we tied Dominican, and that was something that this is the first time in men's soccer NAC conference that Dominican wasn't the top team. They actually dropped to 4th. So now we have a freshman class that has not lost to Dominican. So the mindset now is completely different going through from here on out. Next year we won't have that stigma of we've always lost or we can't get past certain teams. We've shown we can go on and go up to the road up MSOE, a hostile environment, twice, played out of our brain the first time, got the win. Second time played very, very well. I didn't think in some cases better. Came up a little short on the penalty side of things, but at the end of the day, showed once again we can play on the road as well. So other teams, I think, in the conference are graduating some key players, and certainly our senior leadership will be missed greatly. But I think we have some pieces of the puzzle that can fill in right away, and if we do our jobs recruiting, we have got some more players coming in that'll add to the talent base.
Going into next season, and in any of our sports, nothing can replace experience. And although we had some seniors, we played a lot of freshmen and sophomores. And look at the teams that we're playing against, and there was anywhere from 19 to 20, 22 seniors that were playing against our freshmen and sophomores. So that experience will pay off down the road. And
You did a phenomenal job, by the way. The younger players this season.
They did a phenomenal job understanding that 6 months ago they were on a high school field for most of them, and to be able to compete against guys that are 22 and 23 and seniors, that shows a lot about their talent level. But we still have a lot of growing to do. We can't step back and say it's just going to happen next year because we got this experience. We have to work harder to get over the hump.
I think our women are going to learn a lot from the sting of defeat. The last time we've lost a conference, tournament, Coach Lakin had all his hair.
More hair, less fat. It's crazy back then.
And I think it happened to the guys last year. You guys lost conference, and it sort of woke them up and said, "We got to work a little harder." Underestimate your conference, maybe not. But I think it's going to. They have an option. They can either let that unravel them or respond to the adversity and be a better team. The guys' team is sort of the opposite of the spectrum. They tasted the most success they ever have, and with that they have to make a decision. Are we satisfied with this amount of success, or do we want to get even better? This year there was 8 teams in our region that went to the national meet. We're not that far off. Is that something that these guys want to do? They want to make that kind of commitment. So those are the places that we can go looking ahead.
Yeah, I think just as Chapman's women's team, it was the first time in 6 seasons, I guess so it was 7 seasons, that our women's soccer team wasn't in the NCAA tournament, and that's a sting to them. And those our younger players, they had the opportunity to play in some big games this year, but ultimately they realized that there's still steps, and the experience part is huge. And you can have incredibly talented young players, young runners, but just the mental and physical strength of going through those battles over several seasons there's just nothing, you can't replace that. And so for those players to get and earn some of that and learn some of that this year, I think sets up well for the future.
Okay. Really quickly here, what's the most important thing for you guys to do this offseason?
Well, we have for us at our program, we've got like Rick, we got to find leaders. We actually do a bit of a leadership class with my going to be senior, so current and junior class. Just reading articles about other leaders throughout different areas of the world, not just sport, but throughout everywhere. And then we've got to go out and find more talent to come in and replace the senior group that is exiting us and get better.
Yeah, I think our kids need to realize, and we tell them, that team will never be the same. Right? You're never going to have that team again. So moving forward, we've got to dig our own well. We've got to drink from our own well. So it's going to be coming together even tighter as a group, spending time in the off season in a weight room and preparing, and then as a coaching staff, we need to recruit.
Yeah, I hear on the recruiting, and as far as it's sort of it's a genuine answer, but it's sort of odd. Our athletes, they need to understand that there is no off season. That's our sport. So the more of an off season they have, the worse runners that they're going to be. So we'll take about 7-8 days off, and then we get right back at it.
Yeah, recruiting and bringing in, finding the next group of not only talented players but really good young women that I think are going to represent our program well. That's a huge part of the offseason, and then really continuing to stay connected and touch base with our returning players and helping them to grow as leaders, to grow athletically, to make sure that they're continuing to progress, academically, and just, when we're not in season, lots of other things can occupy their thoughts. And, as Chapman even said, you're constantly trying to make yourself better. And if you're not making yourself better and somebody else is, then you're going the wrong way. And so that it's just a continued process.
Okay. Well, it was really great hearing from all of you, and thank you so much for joining us on the show. Good luck moving forward. We especially would like to wish Coach Chapman and the men and women's cross-country teams good luck as they travel to Winnicott, Wisconsin this Saturday to compete in the NCAA Division III Championship. That's all the time we have here today on Spartan Spotlight. Join us next time and be great today, Spartans.
All right.
Congratulations.